Connection and Care Technologies. And this is a webinar that will provide to you some insights, some software and hardware tools, free and low-cost tools you can use to connect with your congregation and to extend your care to the people that you're serving, and as well to help your team to come together during this time where we can't have meetings always personally. Enjoy this resource. It's about a half hour long, and I believe that it will provide to you some help and encouragement and practical tools during this time. If I can be of service to you, let me know. Otherwise, you be encouraged, you be blessed, and I pray this resource is a blessing to you. Hello, friends. This is Pastor Brian Hudson. I want to share with you a webinar from something I'm doing called Digital Media Masterclass. And this is about training and in technology. We've had a workshop already on podcasting, which came out very well. Others are planned, but obviously with the change in our status with the virus, we really won't be doing face-to-face meetings. So I'm putting together webinars, online webinars in the future. But today, I want to talk to you, to pastors in particular, about connection and care technologies for churches. We know that our call and mandate to connect people to God, to connect people with one another, and for us to have pastoral care requires communication and connection. Well, we can't meet face to face, at least not in our full congregation, so we're all turning to technology as a means to stay connected with people and to serve them, in addition to the phone calls and the visits we can make personally where it's appropriate. We're going to discuss the following tools: email, SMS, texting, conference calls, webinar and conference software and tools, live stream, YouTube Live, Facebook, websites, and robocalling. Now, there are many other tools. There are many aspects to each of these. I'm going to give you what I use, tools that I know are inexpensive or free altogether. And there are a lot of high-end corporate tools. We know that, WebEx and things like that. But I'm going to put this within reach of everybody, every pastor. And I pastor a smaller ministry, so I understand the importance of making something easy to use. Also, the people we serve don't always have the highest end computers, the highest end phones, and I have to be sensitive to providing tools that they can have access to without downloading lots of software and plugins and things like that. All right, so we're going to get into this discussion. First of all, email. We know what email is. It's a love-hate relationship we all have with email. Where email is concerned, let me give you what I think are some important keys. First of all, is to have more than one email address. Most people have only one email address, and if that address is used to communicate with family and then used to get a coupon, right, and qualify for a discount, then that email gets inundated with a whole lot of advertising and spam, and then to the point where important messages get lost in your main email. I always suggest creating separate accounts in Gmail and Yahoo. And that way you'll always have an email you can give to marketing, for marketing purposes, or for someone you don't know. So it's important to do, I think, to just make different accounts. Secondly, it's good to use an email client. Now, an email client is a program like Apple Mail or Microsoft Outlook in which you can use that software to receive and send email. And what's good about a tool like that is when you're offline, when you aren't online, you aren't at a web browser, your email is sitting there. What's been downloaded and received is sitting there waiting for you to look at, and you can go through it. You can search for past emails. Whereas if you're using a web browser only, you got to log in. Well, first you got to get the computer out, go to the web browser, uh, log into whatever you're using, Yahoo, Hotmail, um, Gmail, whatever it is, and you have to go in and bring it up and then work on it. Well, with a client, you will have all your accounts in one place. I have multiple accounts, both domain name accounts, like at newcovenant.org, and I have Gmail and Yahoo accounts, and they're all in one place in my mail client. In my case, Apple Mail. In addition to having all emails in one place, is the benefit of being able to create folders, and these folders can store and separate email, and even be set up where when email comes to you, it automatically gets sent to a folder. So I have folders for certain people. I have folders for certain items, and that way the email gets sorted. Now it takes some work to set that up, but it's worth the effort to figure out how to use folders, and smart folders they're called as well, where you can be able to sort email. And all your email, whether it's Yahoo, Gmail, your company, ministry, everything comes to one place, and you'll be able to manage it better. All right, texting. Texting, we all text, and texting is a connection tool. It's a care tool. We all text one another. We text about people, text inquiring about how people are doing, and all the rest. But text, we know, is not efficient when doing groups. I don't know about you, but one of the worst things is a group text, right, from a bunch of people that I don't know. I may know one person in the group, but I've been put into a group of a bunch of people I don't know, and so the text comes through. You know what happens, and everybody responds to it. Then you got all these text messages blowing your phone up, interrupting you. And I know it's a way to communicate. It's preferable for some people, but it's not. I don't believe it's good to use regularly. Now, certainly for family, for friends, for coworkers, I'm not saying don't use it. It's just I just think it's not the best way to proceed when it comes to connecting with several people. Now, let's talk about conference calls. Conference calls are a great tool. We've been using a conference call service. I'm sure you're aware of it, freeconferencecall.com. And it has been a wonderful resource for our prayer calls. Many of us are doing this. We have prayer 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 calls by conference call, and freeconference.com is a great resource. And I put the link on the screen. Now there are others as well. Whatever you're using, they're all about the same. Free conference is, as it says, free up to a certain tier. And for a smaller organization, smaller ministry, then the free tier is all you probably need. And it's certainly a great tool. Um, Everybody has a phone. Having a conference call tool as a part of your ministry is as standard as having a website or church email, and having the ability to connect with a small group of leaders or a large group of people or your whole congregation is a blessing. So that's a recommendation. Now, webinar and conference tools. One of the most popular webinar tools is one called Zoom. And if you go to, I'll show you the link here. Zoom.us is a great tool. They have a free tier, and they're a great tool. It's one of the best tools in terms of value and cost and feature set. Highly recommended. The free tier is limited to 100 participants, which may be enough for a lot of us. They have a basic tier for $14 or $15 a month, which has a lot of features and added features, so you can check the page yourself and see the different features. It is a great tool. Now, I don't know that it's so good for a Sunday morning service. You can use it for services, but the thing with a conference tool is it's intended for people who are at their computer or at their phone, who are sitting down, paying attention. and it's not passive. It's more of an interactive type of tool. So it's great for that. And because it has video, you can see each other's faces. Now, I will say, if I'm on a conference call using Zoom and I don't know people in there, I'm gonna turn my camera off. Seeing me is not necessary. All right. So a lot of people feel like that too, by the way. So be aware. And so if you get Zoom thinking that I'm hook all my people up, we're gonna look at each other and talk to each other. Well, I think church folk will maybe do it because we're already church family. But just know that a lot of people are not necessarily willing to be seen, not because they're hiding anything, but they're not ready to be seen. I'll leave it at that. Okay. All right. But Zoom's a great tool. There are other tools I'm not going to even bring up. I think the biggest one I think is called WebEx. Let me see if that's correct. WebEx. Yeah, WebEx is one of the big ones corporations use, very high end. They have a free tier as well. I just noticed here. Here's an important point about using um, webinar, web conference type software, is to determine if they require downloads and plugins. Now, if you're dealing with people who are computer savvy, downloading a plugin or software to use won't be a problem. If you're communicating with people who are not computer savvy, who use computers but don't like to fool with software and downloads, some of these tools would be cumbersome because then you have to do, in addition to trying to do a conference with this software, you have to also do tech support. You have to also be helping people get the software installed. And then you got people with old computers that the security is not good, and new software just won't load into computers that are deemed to be insecure. So that's another problem you got to deal with. Keep that in mind if you're using these web conference tools. Okay. Otherwise, they're great. Now, I think Zoom does have a feature where you don't have to have a plugin or a download. I think Zoom will allow people to just go to the web browser, mobile web browser, or desktop web browser, and join a conference without tools. Which, if that's the case, it's great. I don't use Zoom. I've tested it. It's really good. I don't use it, but it's a great tool. If you don't need to present slides or video clips or things, then again, a conference call will work just fine. Corporations still do conference calls when they do quarterly reporting. Apple, for example, they don't use Zoom and WebEx. They just pick up the phone. Now, of course, it's certainly a sophisticated phone conferencing system, and corporations do it every quarter. So making a phone call and listening to a conversation and talking is still the most basic of the tech that we use today. Live stream is the best way to send out your church service, your messages to the most number of people. It requires something called a content distribution network, or a CDN, which is what Facebook Live actually is, a content distribution network. YouTube Live is. And then there's professional services like livestream.com and Sermon Network. These services allow you to stream. You send one stream to them and they broadcast to everybody. And even though Facebook appears to be free and YouTube appears to be free, they get their revenue from advertising and pushing products out to you and all that, which you know. And so in essence, it's not free. Nothing is free as it pertains to live stream, because there's a lot of expense involved with processing and sending out this information in the form of video and audio to any number of users. Facebook Live is a great tool. However, you can only reach people who are on Facebook. A lot of people are not on Facebook and don't want to be on Facebook. And so you want to reach them. And a traditional live stream is the best way to reach everybody without having to sign up for something, download something, do plugins. All a person needs is a web browser on the mobile device or the desktop device. to receive a live stream. We're going to return to this discussion about mobile video and doing live stream toward the end of this presentation. Websites. Websites are very important because they're yours. Your website is like Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. It belongs to you. It's your identity, it's your face to the public. Everything on your web page pertains to your ministry. Everything on there pertains to your ministry, your purpose, and your vision. That's why having a web page is important. However, like other things, it needs to be of a certain level of quality so people will want to go there and go back to it. Sometimes the website doesn't reflect the quality of the ministry. Now, I've been doing web development for a long time, using many tools. I've done everything from hand coding to Dreamweaver to Adobe Muse to WordPress, all TypePad, and all of them. And for me now, the easiest and best tool is Wix.com. Now, wouldn't have said that 3 years ago. Wix was a hot mess. It used to be Flash based, all Flash, several years ago. It was terrible. And something happened. I don't know what happened over there, but they got their act together. And now Wix is my preferred tool for doing simple, quick websites. And I've done many, many sites for clients, for myself. You can do a site yourself, but you need to have your own website. Robocalling. Now here's a great resource I want to share with you. And I'm going to show you now a tool that I've been using. Now, again, you all probably have all of these in some form or other. I'm not trying to suggest you don't have any of this. I'm just offering what I'm doing and maybe it helps somebody. I want to show you a robocalling app called Dial My Calls. It's available for the iPhone. I'm sure there are equivalent apps for Android, but this one, it may be on Android as well, but this is the app for iPhone. The way this works is brilliant. You first of all want to download a free app. You need to purchase some credits that you will use for your robocalls. Once you've purchased your credits, the procedure is very, very straightforward. You go to recordings. You then make a new recording, record by phone. I'll call this just test. And I'll just record. I'm doing a demonstration for pastors of how to use this robocall app. But it plays back. You can upload that to the server. Once that's done, you go to the broadcast tab, do send broadcast. From here, you want to choose, give this broadcast or robocall a name. Choose caller ID, which is normally your phone number, so people know where the call is coming from. You then choose the recording, and I'll choose this test recording. You choose the contacts to send to. I'm not going to select that for privacy's sake, but you can make any number of lists of contacts: ushers, men, women, the entire congregation, and so forth. And once that's done, you click on Send Broadcast Now. And of course, I haven't chosen anyone to send to here, but if I did, when I tap that button, the call goes out within seconds and people begin getting phone calls. It also has reports that show you how many calls were answered, who answered, was it live or voicemail. It's a great app, and I've used it for several years now. It's perfect for sending out calls for prayer needs, changes in service cancellations, and such. So again, that's a great tool for connection. Probably less so for care, but mainly for connection. Now, sometimes what I'll do, if I have an important email to send out, I will follow up with a robocall to say, check your email, because people don't check email as often as they check or listen to a call coming in or check the voicemail if they missed a call. So that is Dial My Calls, a tool you might want to consider using, or an equivalent tool on Android. Now let's go a little bit deeper with mobile video and live stream. This is an example I'm taking with my iPhone front-facing camera. This is obviously a great way of doing your live stream or presentation to people on Facebook. However, there are a couple of problems with this that are easily corrected. Of course, you see the bright light behind me. Sometimes a bright window behind the person speaking. Therefore, the light on my face is a lot less. I'm not quite centered, and the sound is very distant. I'm gonna give you some tips on how to improve that. Now, this is fine for Facebook. People are just glad to hear from you. They don't care what it looks like. But when you're doing a presentation to the public, people who don't know you, people who you want to reach and impress with the message of the gospel, then give them the best presentation you can. These new phones are very, very good. So I'm going to show you now how this same phone can deliver a very good quality presentation. Now here's a presentation from the same phone using my front-facing camera, and the difference is quite remarkable. Now, I'll tell you what I'm doing here so you know. First of all, I'm turning this to landscape view. Now, the portrait view is great for Facebook, for people who are watching only on their phones. Well, if you want to do a public presentation, it should be suitable for watching on a television, smart TV. And so this kind of image here would fill the screen on a smart TV versus having a little vertical image in the, in a smart TV if the phone is turned to portrait. Also, I've got lighting. I've got an LED light across from me, Amazon.com, and there's lots of them. And even the small ones work great. Anything is better than nothing. You can get a big softbox, all that, but not necessary. Again, my goal is to give you inexpensive tools here. Also, I've got the phone up on a small stand, a tripod, at eye level. You don't see the ceiling. I'm not looking up my nose. It looks like a professional camera, but really it's a professional looking shot. Look at the framing. My head is appropriately spaced. My head's not too low in the frame. All of this is easy to do. We want to get past the "I'm just glad to be here" stage and go ahead and do the best we can with what we have, all right? Also, notice the sound. It sounds very different. Now, your built-in microphone on your phone does a good job when you're close to it. And however you stand back from it, you know what happens. It sounds empty. So I'm using a wireless microphone with my iPhone. If I was across the room talking, you still hear me just as clear as I am here now. And this is a good scenario to use your phone for a live stream or a small iPad, and to get really good quality for your live stream. Let's talk about now how to stream from your phone to YouTube Live. Now, the YouTube Live mobile app used to allow live stream from your phone, but they changed it recently, and now you have to have 1,000 subscribers on your channel to use the YouTube Live direct from your phone through the YouTube app. Well, we can do it a different way. I'm on my church YouTube account page. I'm going to click on Go Live here. I have to set up my account to receive a stream from the phone. Now, I could do the webcam option on my laptop, but that won't work in terms of having or filming a meeting like a church service, okay? So I'm going to create a title, and I'll call it Connection and Caring Webinar. It is set to public, and I'll call it Empowering Pastors. That's what I hope I'm doing here. Choose a category. I'll say education. That fits. You can schedule for later or do it now. I'm going to do it for now. You can schedule for later, in which you can, for example, set this up to start at your service time on Sunday. And the audience will be YouTube now requires you to state the intended audience, so it's not for kids. And these are all my settings here. I'm going to now click on Create Stream. And now it's going to give me some settings that I need to use to put into my phone app. The stream key, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put that in my notepad so I have it. I'm going to copy the stream URL. I'm going to put that in my notepad so I can use it. And these two items are needed to make the stream work. I'm going to hit done. Now I'm going to my phone and enable the app on my phone. We'll begin with going to the Wirecast Go app. Of course, I assume you're going to download that and install it. It works on both Apple and Android devices. I'm adding a new server, which is the YouTube Live server, and I'm going to put in the server URL. And then next I'm going to put in the stream name. Okay, so I have added those two items. So I am now streaming live, and there you can see my image. And once I see it come up live in my YouTube Live control panel, I'm then able to share that. And there are some features here. There's live chat that's available when you're streaming YouTube Live. The best part about YouTube Live is you can share it everywhere. This live stream is also accessible on mobile phones. You can email this stream link. You're able to embed it. So I can do share from here. I can embed that link in my website, send that to Twitter, to Facebook. And so this is a great way to live stream. And because I'm using my wireless microphone, you hear me just fine. And this is a good method. It's short of doing a professional live stream setup with external camera and a computer to process the image and all that like I normally do when I install for clients. This is a good way to stream live, and people don't need any other apps, nothing to download, no plugins. All they got to have is a web browser, and they are good to go. I trust you have found this presentation helpful. It was in my heart to do this, to make it available to pastors and media teams, and I trust you'll find something in there you can use. This is a interesting season we're in. It's testing us, not God, but us. And I believe we're rising to the challenge and using whatever we have in technology and in creativity to serve the people God's called us to reach in our congregations and a larger community. Again, if you need professional services and consultation, you can go to the website, visionmediaexperts.com. And there's a form there to let me know how we may serve you. But otherwise, I believe these tools will be ones you can use and figure out and make useful. So God bless you. Let's continue to trust God and see his hand and his power manifest in this circumstance and season. God bless.